Guys, it's May and tonight I am playing with felt flowers. Now, I know this isn't new and probably not groundbreaking. I know it's not groundbreaking, but I've never made felt flowers and I just kind of want to play with them. And if you guys remember, Jamie from Punch Place Plus sent me these headbands. And I just thought this would be kind of a good way to use a felt flower. I don't know, and since I've never used them. And I wanted to make one or two of these for my nieces and see how they like them. So I thought we'd try it out. I don't know. I also was thinking for Mother's Day, this would be a super cool gift for moms if you wanted to put it like on a brooch, put it on a pin for moms. Or, I don't know, maybe your mom wears headbands. They're super pretty. And the other cool thing it would be really cool for is to put on a scarf if your mom wears scarves. I wear scarves year round and I think it'd be cute. So, here's what we're going to do. Now, first things first, I'm not big on buying a whole bunch of stuff. You know, use what you got. But I found these packs of felt at Walmart on clearance for $1.98, marked down from $3.97. And they had two different kinds when I was there. They had this dark kind and this lighter kind. And there, I'm going to turn it sideways so you can see. See all the colors in there? There's both of them. All those colors. Aren't they great? And I didn't have felt because I don't do felt crafting much. I mean, I had some gray felt, but I bought it by the yard, so just to have some. But anyway, I thought this would be super fun, and we're going to start with this pink color here. Now, first things first, I'm going to cut strips, and I'm going to use my paper trimmer for it. I practice with it, and it works fine because I have a rotary cutter. I don't know that this would work on everybody's paper trimmer, but it does work on this one. And what you're going to need is, to do what I'm doing, you're going to need strips that are 1.5 inches. And that's what I do. I just cut it and then pull it as I can. So I'm going to do 2 strips at 1.5 inches. Okay. And then you're going to need some that are 1.75 inches. That center does not cut very good. Okay. And then I'm going to cut some that are 2 inches. And now that I have my strips, these are my 2 inch here. Okay. These are 1.75 inches. And then these are 1.5. Now, you may need more strips in this just depending on how many petals you need, but this is what I'm going to start with. So, now what we're going to do is take these strips and you want to make them squares the same width that they are. So this is 1.5 inches, so I'm going to cut 1.5 inch squares. And you can use your cutting board to do this if you want. Just lay it down. They don't have to be perfect. Find 1.5 inches and cut. You can do it like that. Or you can go back to your paper cutter. I did the first set with my paper cutter and I found that took a really long time just trying to open and slide. So I just did it like this because they don't have to be perfect. Now you will have some little scraps left over. If you have a scrap pile, you can put that in it. I'm not even going to save this because it'll just clutter up my scraps. Okay, so those are 1.5 inches. Now these are 1.75 inches. So I'm going to cut them to 1.75 inches. And I'm going to have to use this bottom part as my guide. And you still see, you can see my felt, but I'm measuring down here. So 1.75 inches is here. So basically, they're just going to be a square, okay? All right, so just keep going on these. And you're probably all saying it, but I'm just going to do it. You can just do this. You're probably like, really, Amy? Come on. Sometimes we don't think like we should. Sometimes we learn things the hard way. Am I the only one who does that? Okay, so there's that. And now the 2 inch one. So I'm going to cut one at 2 inches real quick and use it as my pattern. So this is 2 inches. And then I'll just cut these down. Okay, so I've cut all of my squares. Now I'm going to go back and cut the shape of the petal. Now this is much easier than it may seem, but here's how it works. You have 2 options. You can come to the corner and just kind of angle into the center. Just like so, giving yourself a petal like that, okay? Or, and that's not how I did mine. I'm going to do a different one and I'll fix this one afterwards. I'll do it on a bigger one. Or, you can come in about 1/4 inch at the bottom, take your scissors and curve out to the edge, and then back to the center. Like that. And once you have one side like you like it, you can always just fold it in half and copy it on the other side. If you want to be picky, but I wasn't. I actually didn't do it like this. I just freehanded them. And I'm going to freehand some for you. Like, look, that didn't turn out great. Okay. Let's do another one. Just going to freehand them. And again, they don't have to be perfect. Which is good because I'm not making them perfect. Alright, so cut all your petals out with this same idea behind it. I want to tell you what does matter on your petal. To get the kind of flower I'm doing, which is a dahlia, is that how you say it? Dahlia? The only thing that's really important is you need the point at the top. That's the biggest thing. So cut all your petals and we'll get back. Okay, so here's your petal, right? And I'm going to show you what you do with all of them. Now what I did, and I got this from a vlog. I did some research on these online, just looking around to see what was out there, and I think this is the simplest way. So you take your petal and some hot glue. You don't have to use hot glue. I saw where some people use fabric tack, and some people use hot glue, and some people use stitches with needle and thread. Then this clothespin, you're just going to close it up on there like so, and it will hold it while it cools off. Now I did this already to save some time, but you do this with all of them, the small one, the medium, and the large. This is exactly how you do it. Let's do one more just for good measure. This one is cut so poorly, but we're going to do it. So I'm going to tuck this in and then tuck this in. Okay, so that leaves me this little end. And I'm going to just sit a clothespin on it. Just like that. And let it dry. While that's drying, you want to use something as a base. I'm going to take this 2-inch circle punch and I'm going to punch out 2 pieces of cardstock. It's not going to show. The color's not going to matter. I'm just doing something real simple. And now, I did 2 pieces because I want to build up the strength of the cardstock. If you had some chipboard circles or something like that, you could do it with that and not have to do this part. But I'm just doing this to make it a little sturdier. No biggie. Okay? Next, you take a square of your felt that I'm just using the same color just in case it shows. And I'm just going to sit this here and glue it in place. Just like so. Pick that up. And now I'm just going to roughly cut around, leaving a little more than 1/4 of an inch of felt. Just a little more. Okay. Now then, I'm going to take my scissors and snip around this felt so that we can turn the felt up onto our cardstock disc. The more slits you make, the easier it is to turn. The larger, then you might have a little buckles, but the more you make, the better. Then we're going to run a thin strip of hot glue around the edge. Lift that up and tuck it. Now if you're using a high melt glue gun, you might want to use something on your finger for this because you know this is felt and that can come through it, but I'm just using a low melt. And it's not bad. Probably if I stuck my finger straight in it, it would be bad. But you just do this all the way around to cover your workings. And this is something else I picked up on another blog or either a video. I don't know, I did a lot of research on these because I've never made them before. And I wanted to try to find all of the tips and tricks so I could do it the easiest way. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. And now for the fun part. I'm going to put my scissors away. We are going to glue the petals on. Now you want to start with your bigger petals. Now I've already taken the clothespins off of all of these, and these are the bigger ones. And I want to show you something. When you open your clothespin, it's probably going to stick, but that's okay because these peel right off. See that? So you just want to peel them off. Now we're going to start placing these. I'm going to put some glue onto the petal and place it on to the base. I'm going to use, for my first round, I'm going to use this as my guide for placing them. So glue and petal. The closer you put them together, the more petals you're going to need, so just keep that in mind. And I do want them to touch. The felt is so cool because I glued it down to my board. But the felt is cool because it just kind of melts into itself. It's really kind of neat. Some of my petals are really poorly shaped, but I think they'll cover up. And one more. And these were the large ones. These were the 2-inch petals. Now you could put a center here and end. Look, that could be a big flower, right? But I don't want to stop there. I'm going to keep going. So now we're going to take our middle of the road petals and we're going to place them in an inner circle like this. And I want these to kind of lift up a little bit. So I'm going to put glue on the bottom edge and then I'm going to stick it down in there a little bit and press because I really like the lift. See that? Let me show you. See how that lifts up? I really like that. So we're going to do that all the way around. The worst part about using hot glue is the strings, but you know, even if you're using fabric glue, sometimes you get the strings too, so. And it's super easy. They look so much more difficult when they're finished. They look like they really took a lot of time to do, but they're really super easy and fast. I'm surprised because I was expecting it to take a while. When you see them finished, you're like, that took somebody some time. All right, and now the small ones. Let me bring this up so you can see this because I know the colors are kind of blending. See how beautiful? So pretty. And now the small ones. I'm going to do the same thing. And these I'm going to kind of just put the glue on the edge and just kind of stand them up into the center. And just get another layer going. I just think these are beautiful. Pushing them together really makes those petals pop. And I think I have some gaps right here. I'm going to see what happens if I take some of these petals and put in between. Yep, I like that. It's your flower, so you can go back and do whatever you want, right? And if you put them a little tighter than I did, you probably wouldn't have to do that, but this is the first one I've made, so, and I like it snug. Oh, and now I need one here. The more you fill, the more you see places you need them. It's just so pretty. Let's look up close. Look how full and pretty that is. Now let's do the center. I'm excited about this. Now you have a lot of options, okay? The first option I'm going to show you is that we're going to use a piece of felt and let it become our center. I've cut this piece down to just under an inch, about 3/4 of an inch, and now I'm going to fringe it. So I'm not going to cut all the way through. I'm just kind of cutting a little more than halfway down. And I'm cutting in little thin fringes. Now I have a feeling this piece is going to be way too long, but it's better to have too much than not enough, and you can always use part of it for another flower later. Okay, we're going to turn this into a center, and here's what we're going to do. We are going to put a little bit of glue here and just get this guy started by turning it down on itself like so. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it one more time on that little bit of glue sticking out. I'm going to get all the strings off now. And now we're just going to keep gluing and rolling. Just a really thin strip of glue. And just roll. Just keep on going. Let's do a little more. And we'll just wrap that around. Just like that. Now look at that big base we have left, so we can put glue there for the center of the flower. And then this can become the center, and you can fluff it out. And see how full and fluffy that is? Let me bring it up so you can see it. See how full that center is? But that's not what I'm going to do in the middle of mine, so I'm going to move that one away. So here's where I'm leaning. I want to show you. I have these pieces that are just some things that folks have given me in the past. These I actually purchased on a website called Top Hatter. That's where I got these from. And then these were given to me by my friend Sheila. She's a sassy lady. And her daughter Jen at a card party I hosted. Now look, you could put this center in here. Oh, this would be so pretty. The black and white against the pink. See that? Love it and simple. Look at this little guy in the middle. Just a little simple blingy flower. Look at the difference. And then look at this big guy in the middle. I really like the big guy, right? Squished down in there. I think that's what I'm going with. Okay, so lots of glue in this area. And then I'm going to push this guy in. Now you could use E6000 here too because this is plastic onto felt, but I think for the application I'm using it for, this is going to be just fine. So see how pretty that turned out? Now while that is finishing drying and cooling off, let's work on the headband. Now with the headband, you could wrap it in felt. You could just cut the felt into strips and wrap around it. But I'm going to use ribbon. And I just think that this pink hairband, this pink flower, and this houndstooth is going to be so cute together. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so using the headbands that I got from Punch Place Plus from Jamie, she sent them to me to try out. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue on one end. Then I'm going to place my ribbon in kind of a strange situation. You're going to think, what are you doing? But see how I'm placing it like this? The reason is I want to wrap it back up on itself, like so, so that when we start twirling, our end is covered as well. All right? So now I can turn it like this, and we can start the wrap. And I'm just going to tuck the excess underneath, put a little glue on top, and just start to wrap. And it will neaten itself out in just a second. And just pull it snug. And we're just going to hide all of that. Add more hot glue. Wrap. And now see, we're getting a good wrap around. And now, you don't even have to use the hot glue all the way because when you get to the bottom, you're going to secure it again. So you can just wrap it up. Just make sure that your ribbon overlaps. That's all you got to make sure of as you're wrapping. I hope I'm staying in frame. I'm trying to, but I'm also trying to watch my wrap as I go. Just wrap, wrap, wrap. Just like so. When you get to the bottom, we're going to want to wrap up again. So you want to make sure, I'm going to leave a little extra. We're going to wrap it over again, okay? So here's what you'll do here. Put a little glue. Bring this facing down. Put a little glue inside. I'm going to fold this up on itself like this. Crease this. And then wrap it around. That'll give me a neat edge. It's kind of like when you're sewing and you're doing corners and things like that. When you get around here, let's adhere it with our hot glue really snugly. And I'm just going to cut off the excess, but you could tuck it under if you wanted to. So you can see I just cut that away. And I want to show you one other thing to do to make it look really finished on the inside. So I have a little piece of grosgrain ribbon. And what I'm going to do is fold this under on one end with a little bit of hot glue and secure it into place. Like so. Then I'm going to place a little hot glue on the inside here. and secure that into place. Now, a lot of times you would use this method for if you wrapped fabric across it and not wrapped around it, but you had it meeting in the middle. This would hide your seam, but I just think this looks good and also helps it to grip in the hair good. So let's run some hot glue right down the center and then bring our ribbon through the middle. This is really taking me back to the 1980s, and let me tell you why. Not just because we wore these a lot in the 80s, but the first crafty job I had was teaching craft classes in a little craft store called Peace Goods. Thumbs up if you remember Peace Goods. And one of the first classes I did on a Saturday morning was hairbands. I remember prepping for that class and being so nervous, teaching people how to do these headbands and how to make them just right. Super cool though, good memories. The people would pay for the class, and the class came with so many projects completed. And on a Saturday morning, we would sit at a table in the store as people were shopping, and we would craft together. And this was one of the first things I did. Matter of fact, one of the earliest projects we did were banana clips. Y'all remember them. So fun. Okay, so I'm back to the end. I'm going to cut a little more off than I need so I can tuck it under. Add a little more glue here. Not going all the way to the very bottom because I want to tuck that under. To me, this just gives it a really neat finished look, and it hides your, where you used your, where you wrapped your tails. So I'm just going to tuck this under again like we did on the other side. Put a little glue on the inside. Then seal that down. Right to the edge. So now on the inside it looks nice and, let me move this other way. It looks nice and finished on the inside. See that? Then you have all of your houndstooth on this side, and now the fun part. Now I'm just going to glue this guy from felt to ribbon onto my headband. Now what you might want to do is go ahead and put this on your little girl if you've got her so you can see where you want the bow. But I want my bow in this area right here. So I'm just going to put a good bit of glue because the felt's going to soak some up as well. Then I'm going to place this guy on here, centering it and pressing really good together, and I'm going to hold it. I love how this looks. This is the prettiest flower. I love it. I'm glad I tried these. I've been wanting to try them. Now you could add, if you wanted to, you could add leaves out the side or anything you wanted to, but I just think this is so pretty. Let me get it down somewhere you guys can see the whole thing. I'm going to hold it back out like this. See that? Isn't that adorable? Wouldn't that be precious on the little girl's hair? So there's our beautiful, easy flower, a beautiful headband. What a perfect little thing for a little girl to wear like Mother's Day or whatever. I think it's super cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll put pictures up so you can see what it looks like, and I will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.